Hello dear, long time no see. I hope you are doing absolutely fine. Today I thought that let's do voice recording and let's talk with my audience, alright? So I hope you are fine. Yeah, that's right. And because I'm helping you, feeding your ears for this language learning process. Because when you don't take input, your language gets rusty, right? And that's why I'm here. That's my whole and soul purpose over here, talking to you, whispering in your ears and just doing nothing, sitting for an hour or so. That's what we do here, and that's the real purpose for any language learning. That's the secret. Don't tell anybody, okay? Oh, I spelled the beans, guys. I hope you got the point. Still, language learning is a piece of cake. Obviously, languages take time. Languages learning take time. With the right mindset, with the right strategy, with the right mentor like me, right? You can learn anything. I do guarantee, I believe that you have the potential, you have the capability of learning anything. Either it is languages or just, learning any skill. Of course, you have the potential. You have that burning, igniting desire within you, right? And that's why I truly believe in the idea of being self-motivated while helping the learners. And that's my goal. That's my career. That's my future, right? Because I want to help the learners improve their spoken language and just honing their language skills. I'm a language mechanic. And I help learners work on their language skills if they are lacking in anything, right? For example, if they want to improve their spoken, right? I have a specific tools for that spoken language, and I'm trying to fix that, right? When it's get rusty or out of order. So that's why I use, all these things. I have many tools in my workshop, and that's why when any learner comes into my shop, mechanic shop, I help fix their problems and their language learning, metaphorically speaking, right? And that's why. So if you need any help, I'm here. I'm not leaving you guys. Maybe after some time we are here, but obviously all the time I remember you. I think about you guys. You would also remember me. Isn't it so? I don't think so. You remember me, guys. I must be a liar here. Oh, you are. I don't know. Okay, let's leave it's a random stuff we're discussing right now. So this is rambling episode where we'll be talking about general ideas, discussing multiple topics. I'll be picking topics from here and there, and from left and right, top and bottom, and from different dimensions that just help us, fix our language learning process. And I want to just work on your language skill, work on your linguistic abilities, right? And that's why we have to be tuned into multiple ideas, multiple approaches for learning any language. At first, if you want to learn any language, you have to listen, right? You can watch tons of movies, you can listen to tons of podcasts. Loads of podcasts would help you feed your ears because you're familiarizing yourself with the language structures, with the language being spoken accurately by the native speakers. And that's why that's the only idea for you guys to keep in mind. That there's a vocabulary myth, guys. Remember one thing. Most of the learners, they think that in order to speak fluently like a native, you have to have loads of vocabulary in your brain. However, this is a myth. You don't need to learn 10,000 or 20,000 words in order to be able to speak fluently like a native. Never. It's not going to happen. It's not utterly possible in this world. How can you learn 20,000 words if you are speaking with anybody in a native conversation, right? And still, you would hardly use 500 or even 600 words. Why is that? Still, your brain is full of all those words, that expressions that you have learned or mastered. Still, you can't express those. Why? What's the reason? The whole and only reason is because you haven't learned them cleverly. So once you use those words in your spoken language, you apply that, you implicate that, you express yourself with the help of those words, then that's really helpful. It really stuck in your mind, and forever, whenever you are speaking to anybody, you just pick those different vocabulary from different corner of your brain, from different blind spots from your brain, and then you are trying to speak about it. And that's the only reason for language learner. So you don't need 10,000 words. Remember, big words. Speaking a language fluently does not require the big words, the high frequency words. You just need to learn the basic or the intermediate vocabulary, right? That would help bridge the gap whenever you are talking about anything. Most of the time it happens that the most simplest adverbs, adjectives, the nouns and prepositions, the conjunctions, the modal auxiliary verbs, they have been used quite excessively in our language spoken, because phrasal verbs like come up and take up and go out and all these phrasal words, just sit down and stand up, it really helps a lot. By the way, it bridges your spoken gap. These are called the filler words or the filler expressions. So when you stop, you have to speak about it, because modal auxiliary verbs, they're really important. Remember, modal auxiliary verbs are useful, they are vital for your language skill, because I should help you guys learn your English language, and you must learn this language, because if you didn't learn this language, you have to face the music, right? And that's why I'm using all these modal auxiliary words. It really helps me convey my ideas in a sequential pipeline, right? So all these different vocabulary just pops out. I hope you understand me well, because if you speak too much, if you speak inquire and establishment and this utilization instead of use or different words, different alternatives for conveying any idea, you wouldn't be clear. You wouldn't sound clear. You wouldn't sound proper to anybody, that the one who is listening to you, right? So that's the thing you have to remember. You have to keep in mind that those big words are not necessary. Just have to speak with the basic English language, with the basic vocabulary. That's it, guys. That's the real secret, by the way. You don't need to just sit in front of a dictionary and learning in all those words by heart, or while just using and forcing your brains to learn daily, 20 words a day, 30 words a day, 10 words a day. Never ever, guys. You're just wasting your precious life on these words. However, at first, initially, you have to learn the basic words. I'm not just devaluing the importance of vocabulary in language learning. Obviously, it matters a lot, right? But you have to keep in mind that in order to speak fluently, you have to use the basic structures, the basic vocabulary, the simple sentences, not the complex, the compound sentences. That would really create a mess in your spoken. You wouldn't sound clear the next time anybody speaks to you, right? The most important thing that matters is the way you speak, how fluent, how articulate you pronounce words, how easy are the words for you to speak and to convey your idea, to express your feelings, right? So if you do that well, just congrats, Matt. I'm just handshaking with you. You're not physically present with me right now. You're just listening to me somehow the day after tomorrow or some, different time. Some would be having a different time zone than my control. But this is what we do usually, right? So, actually I'm thinking of doing a podcast, by the way, and it would be a wonderful place for me to just talk to people, to understand them, to learn this spoken. Because when you don't understand the language you are trying to learn, at first that native speaker speak fluently and you don't understand a single word in it, right? So you just keep listening, keep doing that thing over and over, and you will reach a stage where your mind will understand the words that have been spoken in that podcast or movie, whatever. Our brains are so flexible, right? Our brains adapt to anything. But once we familiarize our brains with a particular thing, our brain gears, it shifts to that particular idea, right? Or thing that you are trying to learn. So that's the thing. I'm recording this voice on my terrace, and I hope this will really help you improve your spoken, especially if you want to improve your communication skills. So in order to speak fluently, you have to keep in mind that clarity is the most important thing. Clear in language is really important, because clarity comes with the practice, with the natural flow that you have when you are spoken. For example, if you speak your native language fluently, obviously you can be speaking in any language fluently, but if you practiced enough, right? And that's what happened to me as well. I didn't practice hard enough in my life in the past, but I thought, oh my goodness, I can't speak this language properly. I'm not fluent in it. But there was a teacher and he was motivating me that, man, you have the potential, you have the capability. And that's why the right mentor, the right teacher, the right stay at the right time can really prove the idea that you are most efficient learner, that you can learn anything, that you can improve, you can hone, you can work on your skill in any time, in no time, in a jiffy, in a right away moment. That idea kept my language learning process alive till today. Because that's the thing that you can't even believe. You got the point, I hope. This is natural, guys. The only thing you have to keep in mind is the way you speak. You have to speak, you have to focus on your language skills. Now here's a trick. In order to speak fluently or with clarity, you have to focus on your structures. You have to stress certain sounds initially, right? Right now you will be focusing on my language skills. I'm pronouncing certain words quite well, and certain words I'm missing just some words, right? Like ta, to, for. The learners, they pronounce it as a for. I'm learning English for learning. I'm learning English for business purpose. It's not for, it's for. And fast speech or the connected speech, we use this, the shorter, the weak form of the for, which is a preposition, for, is a fa, right? I'm learning English for business purpose. Notice, slightly notice in your spoken. It's absolutely amazing, guys. You wouldn't believe when you speak a language fluently. When you get the taste of that language and you speak, you articulate well, the people admire you. But how is that possible? It's possible with only one trick. You have to work on your articulatory muscles. What do I mean by articulatory muscles, guys? That's right. It involves your teeth, your ridge, your alveolar, your velar. I know it's biology stuff, but it really helps in language learning process too, right? So when you speak, you have to keep certain sounds. You have to keep your tongue slightly, you have to move your tongue, not like in this way, but articulatory muscles helps a lot when you practice. Practice makes them imperfect. Why is practice helpful and it helps in language learning? It's because our articulatory muscles, they move, right? And it happens due to Broca's area in our left hemisphere. Broca's area is responsible for the production, for the movement of our language production, and that's why that's connected to the brain, and then afterwards connected to the mouth, the facial. It involves your tongue, your upper teeth, your lower teeth, and then your upper ridge, alveolar ridge, velar, esophagus, ka. Some sound would be voiced and some sound would be unvoiced, right? For example, p, right? And k, g, it is pronounced from your chest. Anyhow, it's a whole new story for another time, but to sum it up, I mean that you have to practice enough, harder enough, right? Because practice is the only key. Language is like a baby, you have to nurture it, you have to keep it, you have to just feed your baby daily with listening skills, with all these metaphorically speaking, right? You have to learn something new in your language, that the target language that you are trying to learn. The first language would be different from the second language that we're trying to learn. So this is the thing, keep in mind, guys. Okay, see you, take care. I hope you learned something and you enjoy this mini podcast. Take care, goodbye, see you.